Hey guys, this is Dinosaur Drawer and this is part 2 on how to draw the Vastatosaurus Rex, otherwise known as the V-Rex. Alright, so I actually kind of made a mistake because this part of his head is actually shaped kind of different. This part actually this part is actually accurate. And then this part goes kind of like this. It goes with a strange curve. It goes back and then up. But I have to make it a little bit longer to do that. So it turns out that his head will be a little bit too large anyways, which is kind of a little bit of a shame. But we will get it right. And that's actually what his head is supposed to look like. And it might look kind of strange right now. But later on, I promise you, it will look a lot better. I'm just refining it a little bit right now. So that's what it looks like right now, kind of. Alright, but it will look better once I get the teeth in. So his teeth actually go kind of like this. They are very strange. Small ones, big ones, medium ones. It's just you don't really even have to pay that much attention to where you put his teeth, because it will look pretty cool anyways, pretty good anyways. You can put them like this. It's just like the teeth of the Indominus Rex actually. But you do have to pay attention to where the teeth stop. And this is actually the place where the teeth kind of stop. And you can put really small ones in between those as well. Even ones that aren't even attached to the right spot of his jaw. Let's see. So yeah, kind of something like this. And then this kind of goes like this actually. I'm sorry that I have to erase so many times, but don't be afraid to erase it yourself. Your head might have actually turned out great, but mine didn't really. I didn't really made it as accurate as I could. So I want to have it as perfect as I can get it, and that's why I tend to erase a lot. So for this eye ridge, you want to actually make it a little bit bumpy. Like that. And then on his bottom jaw, you do exactly the same, but the teeth on his bottom jaw are a little bit larger actually. And don't be afraid to put too much space in between them, or put them too close to each other, because it really doesn't really matter exactly where you put down the teeth. And I want to make this bump a little bit more pronounced. Alright, and maybe this should be a little bit more like this, a little bit more angled down. And let's put the eye in. So the best way to actually put a detailed eye into a drawing as small as this one is just by putting two highlights in it and just make it completely black. So what I tend to do is make one highlight on the top and one on the left bottom corner of your eye, and the one on the top should be the smallest. So those are my typical dinosaur eyes. Alright, and now you can just draw the jaw in properly. Be careful not to go over the teeth too much. And you can make it bumpy as well. Just make it very bumpy and stuff. It will add for the detail a little bit. And this nose is actually supposed to be very elongated. Something like this. And then just also make this part very bumpy as well, because it's a really nasty looking dinosaur. Refining the jaw again. And then here is this big jaw muscle over here. And when you're going to draw the neck in, make sure to do it with a lot of bumps, because those bumps are scales. He has a lot of them, and they are all spread around on his body. And they kind of get smaller on his hip. So this is actually his hip, and they kind of get very small on his hip. And then a little bit bigger on his toe again. And then they just get smaller and smaller until you can't really see them anymore. And then you can just go on with a straight line. Like this. And I'm sorry that I'm turning my page. I tend to do that a lot in my videos. Just makes me, just helps me to get more precise lines at the right spots. Alright. So now we are at the point to where we could get in a little bit of shadow and stuff. Well, actually, we still have to put his tongue in, which goes like this. He has a very long, slender tongue, like that. So again, if you are not willing to get into too much detail, you should stop about here. Don't go any further. Just darken in everything that you've got already, and then you will have a great drawing. But if you would like to put more detail into your drawing, then you have to keep watching. Alright. That's one. And that's going to be the second one. And do the same thing over here. Pay attention that this foot is a little bit angled away from the camera. Like that. Maybe we could draw in this kind of, I think it's supposed to be the jute claw, but I'm not sure. Let's see where it is exactly. Well, you can't really see it on the reference image, but I'm just going to put it in about right there. Well, that's a little bit too pronounced. Let's do it like this. Alright. Yeah, we could get into we could go into the shading phase. So basically what you want to do now is darken every line that you already got and then put in the shadow. So I'll be back. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just going to darken the lines that I've already got. Alright guys, I'm back. So let's now divide kind of like the soft parts of his body with the kind of armory scales on his back, neck and toe. So what you sometimes see on some dinosaurs is that they have a soft part of their body, which is at their belly part, and they have like a very rough kind of armored scale type on their body. And yeah, well, actually it looks very nice if you do it that way. So you sometimes see illustrations with that kind of type of scales. So yeah, so over here we're gonna draw a lot of lines actually. Well, no, let's just first get into the shadow. So first we want to put a lot of shadow over here actually, because there's a muscle right here. This part is very muscular, so what I'm gonna do is just put a lot of shadow over there. Don't go too dark yet, because we still have to put a lot of scales there, but just first we put a lot of shadow for the muscles. Kind of like this. And the shadow will be darker at the bottom of the dinosaur, because over there will be the less amount of light. And it's actually time to use something like a small folded paper, so you can put your hand on there and you won't smear too much. And he also has a fair bit of veins actually going on over here. We're just gonna put down a little bit more detail that way and make those lines very dark so you can clearly tell them apart. Yeah, this might actually get to be a very long video. Well, a very long set of videos. But I think it's worth it, because I don't see a lot of tutorials on this particular dinosaur. And yeah, I would really love to share with you guys how you could create a dinosaur like this. Alright? And a fair bit of shadow over there. Okay. And we also need a little bit of shadow over here. And a lot of shadow over here actually. Alright. And also what I wanted to talk about in this video is that I will be drawing all of your requests, but I'm gonna take a different approach to it. I'm not gonna well, I have a kind of a list with a number 1, a number 2 until like 15 or maybe till like 17. And I'm really sorry for the noises on the background that you're hearing cars passing by. I normally don't have that because I normally record my videos in the evening when there aren't a lot of cars driving around, but now it's morning, so but yeah. I am drawing the request according to a list. For example, if someone has approached me first, I draw his request first. But if I do it that way, then I am afraid that it will take too long for all the for everyone to actually get their request in a tutorial. So what I'm gonna do now is just do one according to the list, and then I'll pick one random request that I'd like to draw, and that way you guys don't really have to wait that much longer. It's more equally divided between the requests. Yeah, this part is just really time consuming, but yeah, you guys just have to bear with me a little bit. Because the bottom part of the dinosaur will be the darkest. Alright. And also, I talked about how I was gonna do a video every week, and I didn't really mean that that would be the maximum amount of videos that I would upload every week, just one video every week. I just meant that I was gonna do at least one video every week. Alright, so now we have to divide the muscle groups. Well, not the muscle groups, but we have to look at where the muscles would be. So this muscle would be over here, one muscle over here, and this one would go like this. And then, let's see, this one would actually go like this, because this one is really carrying a lot of weight, so it needs to be pumped up a little bit more. And now let's just draw this in like that, and then we have one muscle that goes like this. And then of course we have one muscle that is on his tail, a huge muscle that goes all the way until the very end of his tail. And this muscle actually starts kind of like over here. I really hope you guys can hear me talking when cars pass by, because I can imagine that those sounds will be very loud on a recording. So just a very thin line over there. And then also a lot of shadow over here. But be sure not to overdo it. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep drawing until my camera just stops recording, and then I'll make a part 3, so I can stretch this video out as far as I can get it, because I'm definitely going to be needing a part 3. Alright, that should be about fine, because over here it's going to be very light, a very long, large highlight. Alright, and of course over here should be a lot of shadow, because this is actually kind of angled inwards, so there will be a lot of shadow over here. But make sure to get the texture in the right way, and also try to get the muscles right. So for example, there's going to be a muscle over there. Alright, that should be about fine. And rotate a little bit with which way the lines are going, so that you can get a nice texture while putting the shadow in. And his head might look a little bit strange right now, but that's just because there aren't a lot of details in it yet. It will look better later on, I promise. Alright, so now we're gonna start drawing in shadow on this leg, and actually this shadow goes a little bit like this. And this isn't as intense as this one. But we also want to put a lot of shadow over here. Well, not a lot of shadow, but enough shadow, so that the tone of the whole drawing matches up with everything. And his knee is actually supposed to be here, so I'm gonna make one dark line like this, and then a couple of dark strange shapes, and a few folds like that. And of course there's going to be a lot of shadow over there, So that's why this is really dark right now. And the whole drawing is going to get a lot darker as to what it looks like right now. So don't be afraid to think that this part is already too dark, because it isn't. Alright, try and get these scales right, and the dinosaur itself might look very messy and stuff, but actually his scales are very organized, so pay attention to that he has very organized scales. Alright, that's basically gonna be it for his foot. And of course we want to have a lot of shadow over here. His ankle. But be sure to keep some highlights. Alright. And then we wanna put in the shadow from this huge muscle, of course. So it's going to be very dark right around this part over here. But don't go too far into his muscle, because it is really big, so it catches a lot of light. And later on we're gonna use that light to put some details into the drawing. Also a lot of shadow over here. Alright, and again we're gonna try and put this shadow in the right way, because we don't want to make it too dark over here. But this, actually, we could get a little bit of shade in here. Something like this. And then this shadow goes kind of like this. Oh, sorry, I'm really sorry for the hard sounds you're probably hearing. I'm really sorry for that. And also over here, you also wanna put in a lot of shadow. And make sure not to go over this highlight over there. let's get into this leg, and this leg is actually, the muscles aren't as big and pronounced because there's a lot of, well, he is actually stretching his leg out, so that would mean that his muscles would catch more, this area would catch more shadow. So we're just gonna draw this in very dark. But again, don't go too dark, but just find the right tone. And of course those scales again. And let's do something about this, because this isn't really looking as well as I want it to. So that's a little bit better. We could also get a little bit of scales over there. And of course a few bumps kind of go like this. Alright. And then put in the shadow for this side. And I'm still recording, so that's good. And I see that the video is at about 31 minutes. So yeah, I am gonna stop this recording in a moment. But that's just because I don't want my camera to actually break on me, and it's really hot right now, so when I'm finished with doing the foot, I'll stop the recording and I'll make a third part. It's actually starting to look quite nice. Just wait until we get started on the head. It will look really cool. I promise. Alright. So yeah, I'll make a third part about this video. I mean about this drawing tutorial. And yeah, if you liked the video, leave a like, comment below what you think about the video at this part, and don't forget to subscribe. So this was Dinosaur Drawer, and goodbye.